Hello everyone, this is Qtor here, and this is my video on the Digimon World 1 faster Birdramon Digivolution method, often used in the legacy category, but also can be used in our beginner's slotless guide. So first thing to note, obviously we're starting from a save that is essentially just after we autopiloted from Jewel Tunnel, after beating one Digimonmon and talking to the other. You'll see that Euromon's here. We will go speak to it, but obviously if it's not there for whatever reason, if you're a bit late, then that's fine, you can speak to it after. So you're going to go straight to Green Gym. Again, remembering our sort of fundamentals, you want to be as sort of on the far left of the sign as possible. And what we're going to do, we'll do our first train here, and Agumon will need to feed some meat. That is always going to be the case. Agumon follows a set pattern, which is basically always be hungry 1 hour after waking up, and then every subsequent 4 hours. Usually. We'll see why that will not be the case sometimes. We'll train once here. Very occasionally, your Agumon may need the toilet here. If that's the case, we're going to do, you will need to do a poop delay. I'll show off what a poop delay is in a second. But usually, Agumon's going to need the toilet here. So I'm just going to save state very quickly, because what a poop delay is basically it means rather than if you train, like normal here, and let it go, Agumon's going to go to the toilet. If instead you train and then mash really quickly, you can interact with a signboard before the next, or before Agumon goes to the toilet. And you can do that indefinitely if you are good enough, essentially. So you may need to do that. I'll explain what that involves later on, because we are going to need to do one later on. But right now, if Agumon, after 3 trainings, needs a toilet, that's fine. So we'll let it go to the toilet on the floor. This will count as a care mistake, but we do need at least 3 of them for Birdramon. And after 1 more training, Agumon will need to be fed. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to do 1 more training, and we're going to hold triangle after. And this will force Agumon to need a double feed, aka it will need to be fed 2 meat rather than 1. This is because there is a weight requirement we also have to fulfill for Birdramon's evolution. Now we're going to do everything as normal. Before that. So feed Agumon after 3. I'm going to do 3 more. And it will be evening, and Agumon will now need the toilet again. Now, this is where we're going to have to do a poop delay. So again, what we're going to do, we'll train, and we'll mash X, and I was also holding R1 and up. That seems to improve the reliability for me somewhat. I can't really explain why it does, but it seems to. And then we can train over the hour, and Agumon will poop 1 hour later than anticipated. And this has a slight side effect. So Agumon will be hungry now, but we're not going to feed it. And instead we're going to go to sleep. And what this is going to do is, this following day, Agumon's not going to need to be fed at all. So Agumon, if you perform this right, shouldn't get hungry at any point in the day, and won't do until you fall asleep again. So this just means we can pretty much train uninterrupted. The only thing to note is that Agumon will need the toilet around here. You do not want to do a poop delay here. So you let Agumon go to the toilet on the floor. You can see that there's 4 poops on the floor. That means there's 4 care mistakes that have been done. So that puts us right on time for Birdramon. Or right, sort of, I suppose, within the requirements. We're going to keep going until Agumon needs to sleep. Now, one thing to note, Agumon needs to sleep here, but we're not quite done yet. What we're going to do, we're going to train one more time. Now, Agumon will now need the toilet, but if we sleep over it, two things happen. One thing is faster because it skips the animation. And the second thing is that it will not count as a care mistake. So we're still on 4 care mistakes even though there's a poop on the ground. Now Agumon's going to be hungry again, so we are going to feed him twice. And we'll train 3 times. One side effect of letting Agumon poop in its sleep is, for whatever reason, when they changed it, so in Japanese, your Digimon usually poops once every 4 hours. They doubled that time to 8 hours in the US release. However, they didn't account for when you go to sleep and it needs to poop, or when you use a porta potty. So it's now 4 hours and Agumon needs to poop again. You can see here my weight is 13. Now, you need to take this into account. When we train one more time, we're going to Digivolve, but if we go like this, it's not going to work, because we haven't hit the requirement for Birdramon, which is at least 15 weight, between 15 and 25. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to force feed to meet. You would probably actually do this at a different point than this, but unfortunately this is sort of what's happened, essentially. It's just the way it is. You'll be able to find some time where you can probably feed Agumon at a more reasonable time, I suppose, because obviously you do get those denies. Now, what's important here is we're going to train, and we're going to hold triangle after. This opens the menu so that Agumon won't poop, and instead the evolution sequence will take priority. As said, we got 15 weight, our other requirements done, our speed's over 100, and we have 4 care mistakes. And that should give us Birdramon quite nicely. And there you go. So Birdramon, but fairly quick. Now, a couple things to note is that if you miss the poop delay, you will have to take Birdramon to the toilet at some point, and you will need to feed more. Obviously, in this save, I only bought 11 meat. In the beginner's guide, I say to buy 14. Even if you're planning on doing this method, I would still recommend buying 14 until you're comfortable with it. You won't have these blue apples, by the way. This is from a different save. I should probably explain that as well. But yeah, that's basically, I think, everything that needs to be explained. You may find there's better times to feed the extra meat to gain the weight before these training parts, but again, that's up to your discretion. Starting out, you're probably not going to find it too bad to just feed the meat and hope for no refusals, essentially. But yeah, I hope this helped you. Thank you for watching, and peace.